Imagine this: a woman in her early 40s walks into a room. She's experienced, confident, and no longer dazzled by flashy gestures or over-the-top intensity. She's seen the drama, the highs and lows, the men who burned brightly but vanished just as fast. What she craves now isn't chaos or unpredictability, it's calm strength. It's the kind of presence that commands respect without shouting, that communicates security without arrogance. This is the subtle magnetism that ignites desire, the unspoken power that makes her heart notice. Yet, most men still chase intensity, mistaking passion for attraction, unaware that their volatility is repelling the very women they wish to captivate. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden shift in female desire after 40, why calm strength beats intensity every time, and how understanding this change can transform your relationships and attraction. Pay attention, this is the insight most men never learn. By the time a woman enters her 40s, her body and mind undergo subtle but profound shifts that influence desire. Unlike younger women, whose attraction can be sparked by intensity, drama, or sheer passion, women over 40 begin seeking traits rooted in stability, calm, and emotional mastery. Their attraction is no longer driven by the thrill of unpredictable highs, but by men who radiate quiet confidence and strength, the kind that signals reliability, protection, and the ability to weather life's storms. Evolutionary psychology shows that this is not a conscious decision, it is deeply wired. Women instinctively favor men who offer long-term safety and consistent emotional presence, reflecting an inner prioritization of security over chaos. In practical terms, this means the man who remains composed in tension, who speaks with authority without aggression, and who approaches life with measured confidence naturally draws their attention. In contrast, the impulsive, high-intensity personality that may have worked in her 20s now feels exhausting, shallow, or even risky. Understanding this biological and psychological shift is the key to connecting with women over 40, not through flashy gestures or superficial charm, but through calm strength, steady presence, and the subtle mastery of self that speaks louder than words. For women over 40, sexual desire is no longer just a reflex of youth, it has matured into a complex interplay of lust, admiration, and emotional resonance. At this stage, intensity alone, the fiery passion often idolized in younger relationships, rarely excites them. Instead, women are drawn to men who project calm strength, a quiet confidence that signals self-possession and independence. The chemistry that triggers desire is subtle yet powerful. The way a man carries himself, the steadiness in his voice, the confidence in his movements. These signals speak directly to her subconscious, creating arousal without frantic gestures or desperation. Lust for mature women is inseparable from respect. They are sexually activated by men who respect themselves and their space, who set boundaries while simultaneously showing interest. Over time, women learn to recognize the men whose energy is magnetic versus men whose intensity is overwhelming or performative. A man who can balance emotional stability with sexual assertiveness stimulates desire on a level far deeper than surface-level charm. This principle explains why a calm, commanding presence can ignite more passion than chaotic intensity, appealing to her matured instincts and understanding of what truly excites her. Desire becomes an art of subtle dominance, self-assurance, and magnetic control, not frantic pursuit. Imagine a man walking into a room. He doesn't shout, he doesn't demand attention, yet somehow all eyes follow him. There's a magnetism in his calm presence, a subtle power that draws people in without force. For women over 40, this is the kind of man who sparks desire, not the one who yells, brags, or overwhelms with intensity. By this stage in life, women have experienced enough chaos, drama, and emotional roller coasters to know what truly matters. Calm authority signals emotional intelligence, the ability to navigate feelings without panic, to communicate clearly, and to make decisions without overreacting. It tells her that he can handle life's pressures, protect what matters, and create a safe space for connection. It's not about controlling her. It's about leading with stability, showing confidence without arrogance, and demonstrating self-possession in every action. Contrast this with the typical, intense man who seeks validation through dramatics, emotional extremes, or flashy gestures. While he grabs attention briefly, he quickly fades as desire gives way to fatigue. The calm, emotionally intelligent man, however, triggers a deeper, subconscious fascination, blending security with erotic tension. Women don't just want passion, they want a man whose quiet strength makes them feel alive, challenged, and understood all at once. This is the power of composed authority. By the time a woman reaches her 40s, she's no longer captivated by empty gestures or flashy words. She has lived, learned, and seen through illusions. What truly draws her now is a man who carries experience like armor, someone who has faced life's challenges, made mistakes, and come out unshaken. This experience doesn't just show in his resume or wealth. It shows in the way he moves through the world with quiet confidence, in the way he handles tension, and in the subtle dominance of his presence. Contrast this with the young man who tries too hard, always intense, overly expressive, or desperate to impress. Women over 40 feel it instantly. His energy feels fragile, unstable, exhausting. But the experienced man, his calm strength is magnetic. He doesn't chase, he attracts. His sexual confidence is understated but undeniable. A look, a tone, a gesture communicates mastery without needing to boast. Storytelling brings it to life. Imagine a woman observing a man at a dinner party. He doesn't dominate the conversation, doesn't overcompensate, but he listens, smiles knowingly, and speaks with intention. She feels tension, curiosity, and desire all at once. This subtle, unshakable confidence ignites lust far more powerfully than youthful intensity ever could. Experience, composure, and mastery have become his secret weapons, and women over 40 recognize and respond to them instinctively. By the time a woman reaches her 40s, the gains, drama, and high-octane thrills that once felt exciting often lose their charm. She's no longer chasing adrenaline, she's chasing resonance. The men who catch her eye now aren't the loudest or flashiest, they're the ones who exude quiet confidence, a calm strength that reassures without suffocating. Imagine a man who listens before speaking, who carries himself with measured composure, who doesn't need to prove himself every second. That subtle presence sparks a deep, instinctual desire she didn't even know was dormant. Contrast this with the intense, impulsive type, the man who burns bright but fades fast. Women over 40 recognize the pattern. Excitement without stability leads to emptiness, not satisfaction. The calm, grounded man, however, draws her in slowly, almost irresistibly, because he promises a kind of fulfillment rooted in emotional depth, not just physical thrill. She feels seen, understood, and safe, yet still intrigued. This shift in attraction is evolutionary and psychological. Life experience teaches her that intensity can be fleeting, but emotional reliability signals real value. A man who can balance strength with subtle vulnerability becomes magnetic. It's not about grand gestures, it's about presence, awareness, and the quiet power of being unwaveringly himself. By the time women reach their 40s, they've seen every type of intensity, every dramatic gesture, every desperate attempt to impress. What catches their attention now isn't the loud, flashy display, it's the quiet man who leads without dominating, who moves with purpose but never pushes too hard. Imagine a man who makes decisions confidently, whether it's planning a weekend trip or navigating a problem at work, yet never overshadows her own judgment. This subtle leadership communicates something deeper than words ever could: stability, security, and a magnetic sense of control. Women over 40 are drawn to men who can guide without coercion, who create direction while leaving space for their partner's intelligence and independence. The contrast is striking. Men who overcompensate with showy confidence often come off as insecure, while those who embody calm authority radiate an effortless power that invites desire. A simple choice, a restaurant, a weekend plan, or a small life decision executed with confidence and calm tells her everything about his value. She notices the way he handles challenges, solves problems without panic, and navigates life with quiet competence. This isn't arrogance or control, it's mastery of self, and it awakens a deep, almost instinctive attraction in women who know exactly what they want and won't settle for anything less. Imagine a woman walking into a room, her mind racing from years of challenges, failed connections, and unpredictable partners. She meets a man who doesn't need to prove himself, who doesn't react with drama, anger, or desperation. Instead, he listens, smiles, and holds his calm. That quiet confidence becomes magnetic. Lust isn't only about heat, it's about trust and tension coexisting. Women over 40 have learned to sense desperation from a mile away. It repels them. What draws them in is the paradox of stability paired with subtle challenge. Emotional safety doesn't mean blandness. It means he can maintain his center while she flares, doubts, or teases. She notices how he handles uncertainty, how he responds without over-investing, and how he allows her to be herself without judgment. That balance ignites desire far deeper than youthful intensity ever could. Contrast this with intensity-driven men who chase reactions and demand attention. Their energy is exhausting. The calm, grounded man, in contrast, makes a heart race by simply existing on his own terms. Every glance, every word carries weight because it's not forced. Emotional security transforms into attraction, and attraction grows into longing. She doesn't just want him, she craves him. Desire isn't about who shouts the loudest or acts the most dramatic. For women over 40, the most magnetic men are those who lead without needing to dominate. Subtle leadership, deciding where to eat, planning a weekend getaway, handling unexpected situations calmly signals competence and emotional stability. It communicates without words that you are a man who can handle life and guide a relationship with confidence. Contrast this with men who overcompensate through intensity, constant over-talking, trying too hard to impress or controlling every detail. These behaviors trigger stress and repel, whereas calm decisiveness draws attention effortlessly. Imagine a couple deciding on a restaurant. One man insists loudly, arguing over every option. Another simply suggests a spot, confident and flexible. She notices, she relaxes, she feels safe. That small display of leadership sparks desire more than any grand gesture ever could. Leadership here isn't about control, it's about creating a framework in which she can relax, enjoy, and invest emotionally. Women over 40 have experienced men who overperform, overreact, or dominate, and they recognize the difference immediately. The quiet, confident presence of subtle leadership feels rare, powerful, and irresistible. It awakens respect, attraction, and a deep emotional pull that intensity alone can never achieve. By now, you've seen the pattern. Women over 40 aren't drawn to constant intensity or dramatic displays, they crave calm strength. It's the quiet confidence, the steady presence, the ability to handle life without overreacting that sparks deep attraction. It's about emotional mastery, decisiveness, and the kind of maturity that signals security without arrogance. This is the difference between being desired and being taken for granted. While the man who chases, overreacts, or proves himself constantly burns out her attraction, the man who embodies calm strength naturally draws it in. Women instinctively sense it. It tells them you're capable, dependable, and a partner they can trust. Your path is clear. Reflect on your behavior, master your emotional responses, and cultivate presence over performance. Stop trying to impress and start living as a man of consistent value. If you're ready to truly understand female desire, elevate your confidence, and create relationships where attraction and respect coexist, subscribe now. Join the community that doesn't settle for mediocrity, but strives for mastery in life, love, and connection.